Have you ever been just driving down the road and you had a cup that you just didn't need anymore? You said, this is just a useless cup taking up space in your car, in your truck, whatever. You're on a road trip and you just didn't want this cup or bottle or anything trash related in your car anymore. So all you did was roll down the window and throw it out. I'm guilty of it. I've done it once, twice. I have gotten better after really researching this topic for this video. A description of littering is any kind of trash, waste, anything that could pollute the air, pollute the environment, pollute the earth, would be disposed throughout your window, on the ground, somewhere other than where it's supposed to be, also known as a trash bin. I will never understand why people cannot throw or dispose of trash in their trash cans. Some main reasons why we should not do this is that there has been 100,000 turtles, dolphins, whales, etc. die a year due to marine littering. I was swimming at a lake one time and we were just having a good time out there. It was a family reunion and we were out there in the lake just enjoying the day, and I stepped on a piece of glass that was in the lake. How did that happen? Well, somebody threw out a glass bottle out of their window, or even if they were at the park, they threw it out into the lake, and it got to the banks, and it eventually broke when they threw it out, and it got to the bottom of the lake, and I stepped on it. I had a big old cut on the bottom of my foot. I had to go get stitches, and my day at the family reunion was completely ruined because somebody did not obey the law. Have you ever been to a restaurant and noticed that there's a place where you can go outside and smoke? You can smoke cigarettes. They're pretty much at every restaurant that I've ever been to, and if you ever start looking, and if you ever see, there's always cigarette butts on the ground. There's some where they're supposed to be, but there's always some on the ground. Paola Passifaro, in one of my articles, she had a growing menace, and it is that around 1.9 billion tons of litter are disposed where they're not supposed to be. You can't make it in the trash can. People just throw it out, unnecessary. Crime time. It is against the law to litter. If your trash weighs over 500 to 1,000 pounds, you can get up to 1 year in jail. If it weighs any less than that, you can have up to a $4,000 fine. There's no sense in all of that when you can just put it where it's supposed to go. It's something so simple. Sometimes I'm driving out down the road, and if you notice, there's a bunch of signs going down the roads, and they say, don't litter. I mean, it's literally against the law to litter. I was on the way to my mom's house today, and there was a Buc-ee's sign. And on the Buc-ee's sign, it had, of course, the beaver from Buc-ee's, and it said, this critter don't litter. So that was it was kind of cool that I was doing my speech over this, and there it was on the side of the interstate. What plays a huge role in obeying the littering law is education. If you're not educated, then you will never know. Just like with any law, if you're not educated on it, you will never know. Many ways you can educate on this is just by growing up and your mom and dad telling you. Some people might get educated by my speech. You never know. It's school. Whenever I was in school, they always talked about it, and it really pollutes the air. Pollution is a horrible thing. You just can't do it. It's just not right. When my dad worked at the Telford prison in New Boston, we picked a weekend out of the year, or out of the month. We did it one weekend every month, and we rode four-wheelers, side-by-sides. We rode in our cars even. We did a lot of this, and what we did was we started at the prison, and we went all the way down Highway 98 towards Sims, And what we did is we stopped every little amount of the mile, and we got out of our vehicles or off of our four-wheelers or anything like that, and we had these little trash picker-uppers and trash bags, and we went along and picked up trash. Somebody else was riding behind us with a trailer and trash bags, and when we filled up one, we'd put it on the trailer, and you have no idea how many people stopped by to thank us for that, to help us. We had people come help us. Texas specifically has a slogan, and it says, "Don't mess with Texas." I really feel like that's part of, like, to stop littering. You don't want to mess with Texas. I know Austin has one that's like, "Keep Austin clean," and that's specifically, you know, for littering, for, I don't know what it's called. Anyways, there's tons of mammals. It doesn't have to be just in the water. There's tons of mammals on the earth that are dying. I mean, even just animals that you think about every day. They're eating this trash that's on the side of the road. I mean, there's dogs, there's cats. My dog always brings trash to the door. He will always, for some reason, go find something in the ditch, go do whatever, and he always brings it to the door. It never fails. And one time when we did that trash pickup at the prison, there's probably about 30 of us there, and I think we got 50, 60 bags of trash full, and that was just a huge thing. I think they eventually adopted the highway, and they started doing it every single year. So that's a good way to help. Another way to help is just simply stop doing it. Just stop littering. Stop throwing your cups out going down the road. Stop throwing receipts out. People throw receipts out like it's crazy, and I'm like, your bank information's on there. You might have anything on there. Some receipts you get in the mail, they have your address on there. You don't want anybody getting that. Simply, littering is just about keeping the environment clean. You don't want it dirty, you don't want it nasty, and you definitely don't want it polluted. Pollution is a horrible thing, and it's causing so many negative. There's nothing pro about it. There's nothing pro about littering. Just simply don't do it. Keep Texas clean. Don't throw your trash out. I chose this topic because I do like to keep the environment clean as much as I can. I also like protecting people from a crime. My dad, like I said earlier in the video, my dad worked at a prison, and he now works at a jail in Texarkana. And he says there's cops really pulling people over for littering. If they catch you, you will get a fine. It's no questions asked. They got to stop it somehow, and it's mainly stopped just by obeying the law. Just obey the law, and everything will be good. Back to my road signs. I did a little bit of research on those, and they are really on every main highway that you could probably think of. You can't make a road trip really without seeing it. Unless you're on a dirt road, they're obviously not on dirt roads. But dirt roads is where you see all the trash, and mainly beer cans. If you see beer cans, I know that I've witnessed and seen underage drinkers thinking that they can get away with underage drinking by riding around, which is against the law. And also, when they're done drinking, what do? They throw the beer cans out the window. So if you can probably pick any dirt road in the world, and there will be beer cans on the side of the road. I mean, I drove by one time, and there was a whole bag full of beer cans just on the side of the road. Just to keep the environment clean, don't litter, and just obey the law. That's all there is to it. Obey the law.